Welcome to AI Pulse, your daily briefing on the fast-moving world of artificial intelligence. All right, let's jump right in, because today, what we're really tracking is a world in tension. You've got governments trying to write the rules, while at the same time, developers are shipping new code at, well, lightning speed. It's a global race with some seriously high stakes. So first up, this global race to regulate. While AI development is just exploding, governments are scrambling to put up some guardrails. But here's the thing, everyone's taking a completely different approach. And if you want to understand the urgency, just look at this quote from China's President Xi Jinping. He's framing the stakes in a way that's impossible to ignore. Get this wrong, he's saying, and it could be catastrophic. This really sets the stage for some of the strictest AI controls we're seeing anywhere in the world. And this is exactly how China is putting those words into action. It's a very top-down approach, all about absolute control. Look at these measures. They're screening training data, there's a mandatory ideological review before any model can be released, and all AI content has to be traceable. And get this, in a recent 3-month sweep, they removed nearly 1 million items they considered harmful. The goal here is crystal clear. Make sure AI lines up with the state's narrative. Okay, now let's hop over to Vietnam. Starting March 1st, 2026, they're rolling out something totally different. It's a structured, risk-based system, a lot like the EU's AI Act. So it's not a blanket ban, it's tiered. Unacceptable risks, like manipulating people's thoughts, banned outright. High-risk stuff in finance or healthcare, that needs approval before it hits the market. It's a really pragmatic way to try and balance safety with innovation. And that really gets to the crucial point. There is no single global approach. This little snapshot says it all. China, they're targeting the AI models to keep political stability. Vietnam, they're targeting the AI systems to balance risk and innovation. And then you've got Italy going after Meta's WhatsApp, focusing on market competition. They don't want big tech to just steamroll all the smaller AI players. So 3 different countries, 3 totally different goals. So while all that debating and rulemaking is going on, the world of innovation, well, it isn't waiting around. Developers and companies are just moving at an absolutely breakneck pace. And the money, wow, is it flowing? $7.75 billion. That's what ServiceNow is paying for a cybersecurity firm called Armis. This is way more than just a big number. It's a massive bet that the entire future of security is tied to AI's ability to spot and stop threats across a company's whole network. The sheer ambition here is just staggering. You got to hear this quote from a distinguished engineer at Microsoft. He's not talking about a new feature. He wants to use AI to help rewrite the foundational code of Microsoft software, moving away from old languages like C and C++ to Rust, which is much safer. The scale he's talking about is it was unimaginable just a few years ago. So how is this actually happening, on the ground? Well, this shows a new workflow that's becoming pretty standard for developers. They're using the really powerful, more expensive model, in this case Claude Opus 4.5, for all the heavy lifting, the big picture architectural stuff. Then they switch to a faster, cheaper model like Claude Sonnet to just crank out the code. It's all about using the right tool for the right job to build things better and faster. And these tools are getting better practically every month. The new Opus model is delivering insane cost savings. We're talking up to 89% on certain tasks. And simple quality of life features, like being able to name your sessions or run tests in the background, are total game changers. They let developers stay in the zone. This is where the real speed comes from. Okay, but beyond all the code and the regulations, this insane progress is forcing us to deal with some pretty fundamental questions about intelligence itself. And yeah, it's uncovering some brand new dangers. Which, of course, brings us to the big one, the question that's kind of hanging over everything. Can artificial intelligence actually surpass human intelligence? And this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. It's a real, live debate between the people who are building this stuff. On one side, you have Demis Hassabis from Google DeepMind. He's pretty convinced AI is on a clear path to learning anything a human can. But then, on the other side, you've got Yann LeCun from Meta, who argues, hang on a second, human intelligence is way more complex. It's tied up in emotions and life experiences that machines just don't have. Now, what's fascinating is how these abstract debates are slamming into very real-world risks. A huge one is called prompt injection. Think of it like social engineering, but for AIs. An attacker hides some malicious commands inside, say, an email or a website, and when an AI agent reads it, it gets tricked into doing something the user never wanted it to, like sending your boss a fake resignation email. And here is the really sobering part. This is not a bug you can just patch. OpenAI has been super direct about this. They basically said prompt injection is a fundamental flaw that's probably never going to be completely solved. As long as AIs are out there interacting with the messy, untrusted internet, this risk is here to stay. So, what's underneath all of this? The regulations, the innovation, the risks? Well, it's the physical hardware. The entire AI ecosystem is built on a foundation of super advanced chips, and the competition for them is now a massive geopolitical game. And right at the center of all that is NVIDIA. They're trying to ship their powerful H200 AI chips to China early next year. But just look at the details. It is such a delicate balancing act. The first shipments are pretty small, and the whole plan depends entirely on government approval. It just shows you the intense political tension around this critical technology. And it's not just a US-China thing. Other countries are making huge strategic investments. South Korea is pouring 700 billion won, that's over $500 million US, into its own AI alliance next year. The specific goal? To supercharge AI in their already powerful manufacturing sector. This is truly a global hardware race. So let's try and tie all these threads together. What does all of this actually mean for the future that is unfolding, like right now? What today's Pulse really shows is a world defined by these competing forces. You've got the slow, careful pace of regulation racing against the wild, explosive pace of innovation. You have these deep, philosophical debates about what intelligence even is, happening right next to the discovery of very real, very dangerous security flaws. And the whole thing is built on a high-stakes global competition for the physical chips that make it all possible. Which really leaves us with one big question, right? With governments, corporations, and individual developers all sprinting in different directions, who is actually steering this thing? Who's really in the driver's seat? That's something to think about. And that's your AI Pulse.